Joining the military is a huge decision. When it comes time for you to talk to a recruiter, you have to know that your recruiters are handling hundreds of inquiries, so questions weekly, whether it's through phone calls or text messages or emails. So it's really crucial for you to be prepared before you even start to talk to recruiters. So the better informed you are, the smoother your enlistment process can be. Today we're going to cover the 10 essential questions to ask your recruiter, and actually to ask multiple different recruiters to make sure you're getting the best possible deal. Let's get into it. Hey there, I'm Ty Stebbins, founder of the Warrior Collective, and welcome to video 6 of our 10-part series, Your Path to the Military. Today we're covering some of the most important questions you should ask your recruiter before you make any type of commitment to whatever branch you're thinking about. All right, let's break these down. So question number 1, and probably one of the most important, but you need to ask your recruiter, how does the enlistment process work? You want them to explain it to you from start to finish, and it's super important for you to understand this process, especially as a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old. This is going to be intimidating. So there's going to be paperwork, there's going to be ASVAB testing, there's going to be medical exams, potentially there might be job selection. Understanding these steps is going to be really important. You might also have the option for a delayed entry program. So that basically means that you are going to enlist, but you could be pushed off to a later date, all the way up to a year before you actually ship off to basic training. Your commitment, so your enlistment, starts when you swear in. So why does understanding the process matter? So whether it's the steps involved, or if you're going into a delayed entry program, or or understanding how your bonus gets paid out, it's very common. It's so common that recruits do not understand what they're signing up for, or even when their actual service begins. So if they're going into the delayed entry program, so signing forms doesn't mean that you're enlisted. Commitment starts when you actually swear in. And why is this important? Many recruits don't understand when their actual service time begins. Some jobs, depending on the branch, have long waiting lists, and you could end up in a delayed entry program for months or even up to a year. This leads us into number 2. The signing documents mean that I have enlisted. Your initial paperwork helps process your application, but does not commit you to the military. It can be nerve-wracking sitting in front of that recruiter with their big old desk and all their sweet awards and all their military stuff hanging out over them. And it can be intimidating, but just know that the paperwork that they're asking for doesn't commit you to the military. It is not until you swore that oath. All right. So right before then, you'll make a signature and you'll swear an oath. That's when you know you're committing to the military. Question number 3. What job options are available? Maybe for some of you, the job doesn't matter. But I think for most of you, you want to go into a career field, into a job that resonates with you. So asking the question, what job options are available, is super important. And these are going to be based off of potentially what slots are actually open, and also how well you score on the ASVAB. These career fields can include anything from IT to logistics to medical to intelligence to combat roles. There's a huge variance. These jobs are also going to differ in signing bonuses. So asking what job options are available is super important, as well as figuring out what the bonus might be. If you score well enough, you have a potential to negotiate job selection if you qualify. If a recruiter shies away from a job that you are very much interested in, ask them why it's not available. Be polite and let them know that's something that you are passionate about, but sometimes that job you might want is not available. Number 4, how long are the contracts? These can vary a little bit from branch to branch and component to component, but you can expect to have anywhere from 4 to 6 years, whether it's active duty, guard, or reserves. You can also expect to have a total commitment of 8 years to include your inactive reserve time. So a lot of times you'll have a 4-year contract and then you'll have a 4-year inactive reserve time where they technically, if things got bad enough, they could call you back. And that has happened. That happened in the early 2000s with the Iraq War. But essentially, you're going to be looking at anywhere from a 4 to 6-year contract, whether you're going active duty, guard, or reserves. Now, the Army does offer what they call an option 26, and that's a 2x2 contract. So essentially, it's 2 years active duty and then 2 years in the guard or reserves, followed by your time in the IRR. But just know most branches are going to be looking at 4 to 6 years, but make sure you ask that question. How long is the contract? Number 5, this one's my favorite. What are the benefits? So GI Bill, tuition assistance, bonuses, this is where you need to pay attention and get it electronically. Whether you're talking to the recruiter, just ask them like, hey, do you happen to have any flyers you can send me or email me so you can get it electronically? The education benefits, what the military and the branches have to offer is incredible, but each branch can be a little bit different on what those specific education benefits are. Essentially, you can plan on getting a bachelor's degree taken care of. Financial perks, generally across the board, you're going to get paid the same no matter what branch you are because it's all based off of time and grade. However, what is different is the signing bonuses. So make sure you know what the bonuses are and then how they are paid out. Because generally, you can expect you're not getting a $50,000 bonus the moment you swear in your oath, or the moment you graduate from basic training in tech school. That bonus is usually spread out over your commitment in multiple different payments. Big takeaway here is make sure you know what your education benefits are going to be and you know what your financial perks, so your signing bonus is going to be, and write it down. Another big thing to pay attention to is if you are reserves or National Guard and you're going off to basic training in tech school, is if you're eligible for a housing allowance. All right, I need to interrupt these 10 questions because I need to give you a pro tip. And I know you know this, but you need to keep your shit organized, okay? Between all the medical documentation and all the files and documents that you're gonna need to turn into your recruiter and the information that they're gonna give to you, you need to keep that organized. Best way to do this is actually to knock out our 14-day boot camp course that we have. You can see it in the description, but we basically hold your hand in regards to asking questions and getting those documents ready. So take notes, get digital copies, save everything, have a digital folder, whether it's in the cloud or wherever you keep it, and then also have a binder. You guys probably don't know what trapper keepers are. But you need to keep your stuff organized. It's going to help you track your job offers, the benefits, the commitments. And if you are really taking the time, like I very much suggest, to weigh in all the positives and negatives between each branch, this is going to help you compare and stay organized. All right. So keep all of your records so nothing gets lost. All right. Back at it. Number 6, what happens after basic training? What happens after boot camp? So ask your recruiter this question because it's important for you to understand how long basic training, how long boot camp is, and then where you are going to go from there. So depending on your job, that's going to dictate where your training is. But you want to know how long is boot camp, how long is basic training, and then how long is that tech school going to be? And then follow up with some questions like, am I going to have any freedoms when I'm at tech school? So weekend liberties, Christmas exodus, whatever you want to call it. It's good to find out, like, hey, am I going to get any free time once I get to my secondary education, my technical school? And why does this matter? It's good just to know when you might get your freedoms back, when you might be able to see some family, or when you're finally just able to let loose. Number 7, what are the promotion opportunities? This might not be important to some of you all. And to be fair, when I first joined, I didn't care. But for some of you, this is important. And some jobs promote faster than others. So ask your recruiter, what are the promotion opportunities and what pay grade am I going to be starting out as? Most likely, you're going to be entering either as an E1, an E2, or an E3. It depends on the branches, and there might even be some programs out there where you can come in as an E4. And that is going to also dictate how quickly you can promote after basic training and whatever your technical school is. So the promotion process is a little different between each branch and even each component. And the point systems or the slot openings are going to vary as well. But take the time to ask your recruiter, what are the promotion opportunities within this branch, within this job? If career growth is important, you're going to want to choose a job that has a strong promotion pipeline. A lot of times, combat roles tend to rank up quickly. Maintenance roles tend to rank up more quickly because there's more slots. Number 8, this is a good one. How do I prepare mentally and physically? We have a whole program on this. We have an in-depth 8-week course called the Warrior Collective where we really focus on this. And our whole goal is to send you off physically and mentally confident. So check that out in the description notes. But physical and mental toughness matter equally. Don't you dare go on Reddit and read some of the comments there that are like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're going to show up there and you're going to get in shape. F that. You need to have some level of mental and physical toughness before you even get there. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. I should point out, though, it's called basic training for a reason, or boot camp. So there's a basic equal playing field. However, you need to take the time to get ready. Because you know what? Why wouldn't you? You're about to sign a 4-year contract, a 6-year contract saying that you're going to physically take care of yourself. And you're going to be tested either twice a year or once a year on your physical fitness. So you might as well just start now. All right. So physical and mental toughness matter probably equally. You can take the time, watch basic training videos, YouTube, as many videos as you can, but the real preparation is key. Your fitness is key. Why does this matter? This is exactly why I'm here. This is exactly why this program exists, is because many recruits struggle before they even make it to their units because they underestimated the mental side of the military and how difficult it can be. All right, question number 9, where could I be stationed? This is kind of a quick one, but it's good more just for an awareness question, just so you know where you could possibly end up. If you're going active duty, you could end up anywhere. There's duty vocations and bases all over the world, all over the United States. It's a good question to ask your recruiter because they'll have a good idea where you could potentially end up based off the job that you are going into. Number 10, ask your recruiter what a typical day in the life is depending on the job that you're interested in. So quick example, let's say you're talking to an Air Force recruiter, you're thinking about going into security forces, ask that recruiter what a typical day is like for that member. And if you're lucky, they might even be able to put you in contact with a new recruit that just graduated basic training tech school that can kind of talk about that. But don't make the mistake that so many people do that end up going into the military not understanding what the job entails, not understanding what the day-to-day tasks are going to be. Again, for some of you, that might not matter, but just take the time. Ask that question. You might even be lucky and be at a location where you can get a tour and see actually what they do on a day-to-day basis. All right, bonus question. I have a personal attachment to this, but how long will I have to wait to ship? Wait times vary depending on the branch, depending on what job you're going into, depending on what component of the military you're going into. Some jobs, some branches ship faster than others. If you go into the delayed entry program, you could be in depth for up to 12 months before shipping. Why does this matter? If you are trying to plan out your military career, it may not go in the exact schedule that you want it to. I have a personal attachment to this because what I did in the military is I worked with trainees before they went to basic training. And one of the biggest frustrating things I had to deal with is members would come in They'd get all excited. The recruiters would lay out the red carpet and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go into intelligence. And then they would have to wait because they're waiting for a slot in that tech school to open up. And they could be there 6 months, they could be a year, they even could be there longer in a year in some extent. And that's so demoralizing because like I mentioned, recruiting lays out that red carpet, that member gets all excited, and then now they have to wait and wait and wait. So it's important to ask these questions so you have an idea of when you can go. Because there's a big misconception that you're like, oh, shucks, I'm going to join the military. I'm going to ship off to basic training next month. Now, in some cases, it can happen relatively quickly, maybe with even in that timeline. But for the most part, it takes months, if not longer. All right. Choosing to enlist is a major life decision. At a young age, I don't know what bigger decision, what tougher decision you could be making, but asking the right questions can make the difference in ensuring you start out your military career in the best possible way. So next up, how to prepare for MEPS, so your medical exams, and how to master the ASVAB, so your entrance exam. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.